Hi! I decided this morning that I'm going to be participating in Tistheseasonathon. I figured since I'm getting back into reading finally, I'm like comfortable in my space, I wanted to do a readathon as soon as possible just to like kickstart it again. I did really good in November. I read 6 books, which you'll be hearing about in a wrap-up / recently read / reflections thing that I'm doing. But yeah, I wanted to just like continue that momentum. A readathon's a really good thing to do that with, and I know that Heather from Bookables is one of the hosts of this and I miss her very much, so this is my little homage to Heather. That's essentially it. It's going on from the 2nd today to December 8th, so all throughout this week. So if you are interested in joining, I mean, there's still time to join. I just decided today. You can decide on the 2nd, totally fine. I'm gonna put the challenges over here as well as in the description box in case you are interested in participating. And there we go. I'm just gonna go through my TBR. Alright, so the first challenge is a book with snow on the cover. For that one I have Into Thin Air by Jon Krakauer, and this is a non-fiction book about him climbing Mount Everest, which seems so interesting. I'm very, very excited to read it. I don't know if nonfiction is necessarily a smart idea as far as a readathon goes, but I'm hoping that it's interesting enough where I just like engulf it. Plus it's a beautiful cover. It doesn't necessarily look like there's snow on the cover, but it has snowy mountains. It counts. Next is a holiday themed book, and this will be a super easy, perfect one for a readathon. I'm gonna be rereading Let It Snow for the zillionth time. I did watch the Netflix original that came out, that is Let It Snow, and I really liked it. I haven't really seen anybody's reviews about the movie, but I will tell you that, I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It did not stick to the book at all, but it had little like homages to the book, which was really nice because I feel like it wasn't trying to be something. The movie was just its own thing, and I think that's why I really liked it. So I will reread this. The next one is a book that you received as a gift. My boyfriend gave me this book to borrow a while back because Red Rising is like his favorite book series, and I read Red Rising and I really enjoyed it at the time, but then I waited too long to read the second book and then I forgot about the world. I don't really read fantasy because I feel like I'm getting stuck into a world and it's really difficult for me to climb into a certain world. I do feel like I need to get better at that because just because a book is harder to read doesn't mean it's not necessarily worth reading. And Red Rising was awesome. I really loved the world. I really enjoyed the characters, but then going into Golden Sun, right now I barely remember any of the characters' names. And in the beginning of this is a whole list of the characters' names with the houses that they are a part of, which is very convenient, but it seems overwhelming. But I'm thinking if I put it in this pile and I try and cram it in, then my brain will hold in the information more because I'm cramming it in. I want to continue the series. This is my maybe chance to. I'm sorry that the lighting keeps changing. I keep looking at my little screen over here, and each time I look at it, it's either more yellow or more white or whatever, and I can't really figure it out. It's hailing outside. Forgive me. Also the heat is going on and off, and I just realized that as it turned off, so if this entire time you could barely hear me, I apologize. The next challenge is read while eating your favorite holiday treat. I could do that with any of those books, so that's perfect. The one that I'm not going to end up doing is a book title related to music. I just don't have that within my TBR within this home. I had like 15 boxes of books that I put into storage. I only brought a few here. I could find something on my Kindle, but I think I'm gonna stick to these 3. Plus, I really want to get to Cinder this week. This was the book that I was going to read after the book that I had just finished anyway. This will be a reread, but I read it probably in like 2009, over like by 10 years ago. Was this out then? 2012. Wow, okay. So I read this about like 6 to 7 years ago, and all I remember is it's a fairy retelling of Cinderella and she is half cyborg. I also brought Scarlet with me and Fairest, so I want to read this so I can continue along with the series. I do remember really enjoying it, and it should be a fast read. I just realized that I forgot to mention this book, but one other book that I might get to during the readathon is Me Against You by Frederick Bachman, because it seems like it would be such a wintry book. I read Beartown during the summer and I really, really enjoyed it, and I started straight into Me Against You, but then like 10% in, I lost it. It was too many depressing things at one time, I think. That book was just a lot, especially towards the end. But I think enough time has passed, and it's like around the season where that would be a really good book to read because it is set in a really cold place. It's just about this small town. They're really into hockey. I think that would be an awesome one to read during the readathon as well, especially if I'm looking for a Kindle book to read. So I'm gonna keep that one in mind as well. There is also a buddy read for this readathon, and it is 10 Blind Dates by Ashley Elston. I do want to try and get to that one. I'll just buy it on my Kindle just because it seems like a fast contemporary read and it has a lot of good ratings on Goodreads, so why not do it? That is it. I hope I get to the books. I'm assuming that if I am really, really lucky, I'll get to 4 of them, which would be amazing. I would love that. So fingers crossed. If you are doing this readathon, let me know what you are reading. I am curious, and that is it. I will see you very soon. Goodbye.